Hey, 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 what up, everybody?
Hey.
My name is Jeremy.
I'm Scott. What?
Smith or Wilson?
I'm definitely, tonight I'm going to be Wilson. I don't want to be Scott Smith. That dude, he's weird, man.
Yeah, he is a little crazy.
He's a lot of weird, dude.
Yeah, and I've known him a long, long time. That does definitely weird. How's everybody doing out there tonight? Welcome to the 13th Dimension. And for the first time, we are now broadcasting through 3 different locations. The Paranormal United Network page. We are also broadcasting from our very own 13th Dimension page. And we're also broadcasting through the worldwide page for Things Paranormal Worldwide. And I'll tell you what, that's pretty good. We don't have to share so much.
Dude, that is awesome, man. You know.
This is a very, very special week. Hollywood edition.
Dude, I'm freaking excited, man.
I am too.
I mean, dude, for 2 little nobodies to have somebody like this on the show, dude.
Yep. Definitely. But first, before we get into that, we do have some shout-outs that we want to do. First one for me, today is a very special day for a little girl down in Kentucky. She turns 11 today.
That is awesome.
She is also the wisest young lady that I've ever known. So I want to say a very happy birthday to the Buttercup Princess, Mia Weller.
Happy birthday, Mia.
Yeah, happy birthday. Miss you and your whole family.
And for me, I have 2 shout outs. I want to give a shout out to a young lady named Violet Klepper. She is battling coronary heart disease, and she's on her way back from Cincinnati. So we're sending our best, and just stay strong, sweetie. We believe in you, and you definitely got this. And my second one is for a young girl who turns also, I believe, 11 tomorrow, Gracelyn King. She is my neighbor, and just want to say happy birthday, sweetie. And if I don't see you tomorrow, just enjoy your birthday, and I'm sure you'll see Jenna and all them down there tomorrow. So happy birthday, kiddo.
Happy birthday, everybody. So,
dude, you get those times when you're a little starstruck and whatnot. And after talking last night with Rick, dude, I mean, the dude had me laughing the whole time. Dude, I can't wait, man. This is such a great dude.
Probably one of the funniest guys to come out of Hollywood. Still in Hollywood, and he is also an author. Ghosts Believe in Me. Good book. I believe you can get it on Amazon. I'm not sure of any other places, but we'll be finding that out later on today.
Absolutely, we will.
So let's bring him on, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rick McCallum. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
Man, I hope he's a big guy, dude. I ain't lying.
Hi there, Rick.
Yo.
How you doing, Rick?
I am doing great. How about you guys?
We're doing pretty good.
Well, I'm short. He's ugly. We're doing great.
Yep. I ain't going to deny it.
Well, I got half of that. I got the ugly.
So how's it going, Rick? How are things out there in Hollywood?
Pretty quiet, actually. Nobody's making movies. They're just things are starting to trickle in. So, I'm getting real tired of watching like Cheyenne and Rawhide and stuff on TV. So I hope they come up with some new content eventually.
Yeah, I know. We're ready for some new stuff as well.
We are? I mean,
I am.
We are. We are.
Yeah. So let me start off asking, do you have any movies that you've been in yourself that are waiting to come out, that have been delayed?
Actually, yeah, but you can never tell. There's like on my IMDb thing, there's like 12 movies I've worked on that are not on there because they either have never come out or they're going to, and nobody knows when. So it's hard to tell. When you're the stunt guy, once you're off the set, see ya. You don't get updates on when the movie's coming out. It's stuff like that. So you're there to do a job. You do your job, and away you go.
Right on.
Yeah, I guess that sounds
hey,
makes sense.
You're just a stunt guy. do your stunt, get out. You know, I mean,
but the thing here about the stuntman is that you guys get to have the fun. You get to go out there and do the car chases. You get to go out there and beating everybody up. The people that you guys are standing in for don't get to have that kind of fun. You do. I think I'd rather be a stuntman.
Well, actually, you know, if you're doing fight scenes and stuff, you do coverage with the actors because you have to see them throwing the punches and everything else. So a lot of times you'll be actually interacting with them. A lot of times you'll be doing something called ND, which stands for nondescript, which means you're like one of the people in transporter that just runs in and gets dispatched instantly. So a lot of times you're actually doing the fight scene with the actor. So. And actually, my very first fight scene was with Chuck Norris, and he won considerably.
Wow, that had to be awesome.
That'd be awesome. You know, who you fighting against today? Chuck Norris. I'm gonna get my butt kicked.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And I did
against him.
By the way, Chuck is one of the nicest people in real life you'll ever meet.
Is he?
Yeah, he really is. Really good guy. By the way, if you see me eating candy, I actually have a little bit of diabetes, and every once in a while my sugar goes a little low. So, I fix it.
Hey, you gotta take care of yourself, man. Health comes first.
Well, let me tell you this. You know, if you get a disease and the cure for what's ailing you is to eat candy, I'll take that one. I'll take that disease. Yeah, load that one up for me.
Right. Okay.
So, what kind of candy are you eating? I'm going to ask. What kind of candy do you eat?
I was actually eating Smarties is what I was eating.
Nice.
Smarties?
Smarties, yeah.
That's my favorite kind of candy. Very hard to find, but it's my favorite candy.
I found mine at Outdoor World.
Really?
Bass Pro Shops, you know, they have a candy section. A lot of people don't.
No, not anymore. Just like the Rural Kings and.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Rural King.
I bet you I might be able to find you some Smarties, man.
Yeah, it might make me smarter.
I'll tell you where else you can find them is any truck stop.
Oh,
yeah, we got plenty of those.
I don't go to truck stops.
Yeah,
they like the little guys.
Okay, I am working on sharing this thing out. So,
Rick, I know a lot of people probably know you, but I know there's some people who don't. So can you just give them a brief description about yourself, you know, like a little introduction?
Well, I like long walks on the beach. No, an introduction. I founded a group called the Hollywood Ghost Hunters with my best friend, Kane Hodder, who is more well-known for playing Victor Crowley in the Hatchet movies. And he also did a little thing where he played four times. He played Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th. So, yeah, he was in 7, 8, 9, and 10. What their real names are, I don't know. But, yeah, we founded the Hollywood Ghost Hunters, and we were on ghost adventures, ghost hunting with them. We also have one of our other guys is R.A. Mihailoff, who is better known as playing Leatherface. And if you ask R.A., which Chainsaw Massacre were you in, and you look at you and you go, the best one. So, but he was in part 3. I'll tell you, you don't have to get scared because RA is like 6'5" and 340 pounds. He's enormous.
That's a big boy.
That's a very big boy.
Wow. Well, when we go ghost hunting with him, he goes on one side of the building and me and Kane go on the other, so it doesn't tilt.
I can actually believe that. I can understand that.
You got to distribute that weight equally.
Yeah. I know.
Yes.
Maybe like having to shift the change around in your pockets to make sure you're balanced.
I do that.
What is change?
You
I haven't
know,
had any change in my pocket in 20 years, I don't think.
I still carry change. Yeah, hopefully. I'm old fashioned.
I guess so. Well, you are older than I am, so.
Hey. Let's not start in on old guys. See this? This is not paint. I earned every one of these gray hairs. By the way, a girl at my gym came up to me one day and she goes, "You've got really nice hair. You should dye it." And I said, "Well, I do." And she goes, "You do?" And I said, "Yeah. How do you think I get the gray in it?"
Here I am wanting to get the gray out of my hair.
Yeah, me too. I shaved it.
Yeah, what hair? Okay, how is your knee? We read in the book that you tweaked your knee over in Scotland. How is your knee right now?
The knee is never going to be better because it needs a knee replacement. But I've been doing lots of walking, lots of biking so that I'm getting around. I don't limp. I get up and down the stairs. So it's 100% better. But when I heard it, I was in a forest in the Roslyn, right next to Roslyn Chapel. And I went down a hill and I hit some mud. This foot went up in the air and my right leg got caught underneath me and I fell all 240 pounds right on my knee and just went. And it exploded. I mean, I could feel it. I've had 5 knee operations before, and nothing compares to this last one. I mean, I knew I busted everything in it. When your orthopedic surgeon walks in, he just looks at the thing. He walks in, he goes, "I can't help you. You need a new knee," and walks out.
Yeah, that's pretty blunt.
Yeah, bedside manner, was not the best, but
Right.
But I got the hit. Okay.
So, knowing that the bumps and the bruises that you were going to take, what made you decide to be a stuntman? I mean,
honest answer, excitement. I do not like 9-to-5 stuff. It bores the hell out of me. Actually, I have a motto, and it's if you're not living on the edge, then you're taking up too much space. Right. So that's
I like that motto.
Yeah. Yeah. So actually, when I was in college, I have a degree in criminal justice, and part of the deal is that you have to do a quit beating on God.
I do too. I got a degree in criminal justice as well.
Well, I know that because we talked about it. But and I am old, but my memory's fine.
Mine's not.
But I had to do an internship as a detective at this small town in Illinois. And boy, it was not for me. I could not see some of the horrible things that were being done to other people, and then having to write paperwork about it for hours, and then realizing that you get paid next to nothing and people are mean to you. And I was like, let me use some of the benefit of the 5 years I went to college and say, they have a place out in California where they shoot fake bullets at you. You hang around with really nice, beautiful people. They pay you a lot more money, and you don't have to go in every day. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. Right.
Wow. Okay, somebody is asking if Jenny, a good friend of mine from Ireland, is asking if you are okay with heights.
With what?
With heights.
With my tights? Oh, my height.
Yeah.
I thought you said tights. Well, there's not a lot I can do about it, Jenny. I mean, I'm 6'4". I've been that for a long time. Not when I was a little kid, obviously, because that would have just been weird. But yeah, I mean,
No, she wants to know if you're okay with like heights.
Oh, I got you. I thought you were talking about me being tall. It's like, I've done falls. I went 90 feet off something into water. I don't mind jumping off things when there's something for me to land in. Don't like climbing, on cliffs. I would never, do that. I don't want to jump out of a perfectly, working airplane unless I have to. I did do a movie where I got kicked out of a helicopter and I was about, 20 feet up and landed in a crash pad. That's much harder than it sounds because, everybody thinks when a helicopter hovers, it's like a steady platform. It does this.
Yep.
And when you're trying to go out and hit a 5-foot wide pad and they put a camera over part of it, so you got 4 feet to hit from 20 feet up and this thing's moving around, a little harder than you might think. So 20 foot doesn't scare me. I mean, I've gone 20 feet off and landed on the ground. So, um, yeah, I don't like heights. I don't like standing on the edge of a cliff. I always feel something's going to suck me over, and that's it for me.
Yeah.
So, but if I'm getting ready to do a stunt and I'm up there and I got to fall off a helicopter or jump off a thing into the water, I'm okay with that because I'm in control. No, I'm in control of that. I don't mind that. It's just like I don't like flying. I'd feel much better if I was the pilot.
Right.
Of course, that probably wouldn't work because I don't know how to fly a plane, so that's not the best idea ever. But you get what I'm saying. If I'm in control, I'm much happier about things.
That's probably why I like doing the driving so much.
See, I'm not scared of heights. I'm scared of the sudden stop at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what.
Have you guys ever heard the story of the Eternal Optimist?
No, sir.
Yeah, a guy fell off the top of the Empire State Building, and as he went flying past the 50th story, he heard people heard him say as he went by, "Well, so far so good."
Dude, that'd be horrible.
It would be.
That'd just be horrible, dude.
Wow. But yeah, we're laughing at it.
I mean, what if the guy had a sense of humor, going down, he knows what's happening.
What are you gonna do?
I know at that point there's nothing else you can do.
So far, so good.
I think a nice yelling as you're going down, "Look out below," might be good.
Can you imagine screaming that?
Move!
Yeah.
Get out of the way.
Yeah, get out of the way. I got somewhere to go.
No, it actually has happened. And it was like within the last month, they heard him yelling as he was falling, "Look out, look out." And he fell. He didn't jump. He fell off something, and he was trying to make sure people below him would be safe. So that's a pretty cool dude.
That is an awesome dude,
it would be.
especially, from a height of like that. I mean, it's not going to be pretty.
Well, I don't know how he fell, but he wasn't like off the Empire State Building. It was like like a 6th story or 5th story, and you're
a fair chance of survival.
Yeah.
Depends on how you land.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys whose parachutes have never opened and they've hit the ground and survived. I mean,
I've heard that, and I keep wondering how.
Because they usually land flat. When you land flat, everything's dispersed across your entire body. All the energy being hit, right? Okay. The other people that land like on their side and stuff, it's their side that takes the entire impact and that's it. So, there's some people that go in the fetal position and try and land that way, and sometimes that works for them. But usually the ones that land are the ones that have passed out and just, land flat on their back and, totally limp.
Right.
See, and the one guy that's most famous, he jumped from 3,000 feet and his parachute didn't open, but he hit some marshy ground, which really helped too.
Dang.
Okay. All right. So when it comes to doing the stunts in your movies, do you have one that was your favorite thing to do? Like the one stunt that stands out above the rest of them?
Actually, there's two that come to mind. I was doing a movie called Project Metal Beast, and Kane was playing the Metal Beast. He was a 7-foot metal werewolf, which I was doubling Barry Bostwick, if you remember him. He was in what is the name of the thing where they all sing during the show? The audience sings and everything else has been around for 100 years. Can't think of it off the top of my head. No, it's a cult favorite. Tim Curry is walking around in women's clothes.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, he was actually in that. He played the mayor on Spin City. He's been around. He's done a lot of stuff. But I was going to double him, and the first thing that happened, I go out and I did not realize that the head of the metal beast that Kane was in was animatronic, which means it moves. And when I went out there to do the stunt, I'm looking at him, waiting for him to blast me and for me to go flying. And the eyes turn red and the mouth growls at me. And I went, ah! I scared old Rick. I'm about ready to turn around and run away. But when we did this stunt, Kane tells me, he goes, look, most of the time they do stunts where you land in boxes. Yeah, what? Leave him alone, man. He's crunching.
Yeah, at least he stands up for you.
Yeah, leave him alone, man. That's why Jeremy was giving you a dirty look. He wasn't getting any. That was the deal. Come on, share, you pig. But anyway, here's the deal. I come out there and Kane says, you got to fly through the air when the thing hits you, but I don't want you landing in boxes. Now, you've seen that 100,000 times in movies. They go flying off and they land in boxes. Boxes are actually really good for breaking your fall. So I'm looking at it, and we're in a warehouse, water plant, and it had this big steel roll-down door, big industrial one. And I got this weird thought in my head. So when nobody was looking, I ran over and I jumped up and hit it with my side, really hard, and it kicked me back about 3 feet. So I thought, if I hit this, it's going to kick me back. So I told Kane, I said, okay, I'm going to take the mini tramp, put it way back here. I'm going to run on a full sprint, hit it, go upside down through the air, and hit that steel wall going backwards. And he just looks at me and goes, what are you going to land in? I said, I'm going to land on the concrete. And he did like, what? I said, yeah. And he goes, really? And I said, yeah, don't put the camera there. So they put the camera to the side. I get back. There were two young guys that were standing there talking to Kane, because Kane's not in the thing when I do the stunt. He's already hit me and I fell to the ground. And so I get back and I run as hard as I can. I hit the mini tramp and I go up in the air. And actually there's a picture of it in the book of me hitting the wall. And I go up and I go flying backwards through the thing. I hit the wall and I hit it so hard the wall went backwards and took away all the bounce this way. So I came down straight down on the top of my head on the concrete, and just like straight down, boink, right on top of my head. And you don't want to do a stunt that hard and have to do it again. And I knew that as I landed that I was kind of face towards the camera. So I spun on the top of my head as I was falling. So you couldn't see that it wasn't buried. So Kane always goes, yeah, that fly through the air, upside down, slam into a wall, land on your head and spin like a top trick. Yeah, that's that was something, man. And that boy, that knocked the crap out of me. The other one was a movie called Dark Wolf. And this was funny because there was two parts of the Dark Wolf. There was the actual werewolf, and then there was the human part of the werewolf. I played the werewolf. Kane played the human part. So we were actually playing the same part. But there's a scene in it where I go after the kids, and I jump on the hood of a car, and it takes off going backwards with me on the hood. And it goes back to going, I'd say roughly 20 miles an hour. It's got some speed to it. And it does what's called, reverse J. It goes like cracking the whip, and launches me into these steel 55-gallon drums. And they're too high and too wide, thick. And I go flying in there head first, and I hit my shoulder and my head, and the barrels just went flying like bowling pins. And as I was flying through there, the barrels were hitting me. And boom, because they were going end over end and everything else. And one of them hit me right in the ear. The edge of it went boom. Oh. And as I went over the top, there was another barrel, and I landed flat on my back, my lower back, so my body pitched off the thing and down to the ground. And to the ground is where I wanted to go, so that was okay. But landing up with coming down on my back, and it happened to hit the one spot that I didn't have a pad.
Of course,
yeah, of course. But anyway, I'm laying there, and the director runs over, and the special effects guy comes running over, and they're taking the helmet off because they saw how hard I hit. And I'm just laying there, right? Because they told me to lay still, They pulled the thing off, and they see blood coming out of my ear, and they think I've got like a brain injury or something, and they're all, whoa. And I said, no, I just barrel hit me in the ear. Look inside. They said, oh yeah, you got a cut inside your ear. I said, yeah, that's all okay, right? But I looked up at the director, who's a really good friend of mine. I looked up and I say those three little words, and he goes, what three little words? I said, perfect, moving on. That means they're going to the next scene. And he looks at me and he goes, perfect, moving on.
Wow.
But when you're doing a stunt like that, you can always tell when a stunt is dangerous because the other actors and some of the crew will come out to watch. And this one girl, really nice girl, Andrea, I think it was Andrea Bogart. She was one of the stars. Just as I came walking out to do the thing, they're outside watching. And she runs up, she goes, oh, are you going to get hurt? And I went, yeah. And she goes, how bad? And I said, let you know in a couple minutes. So I just jumped on the hood and off we went. Bam.
So, man, doing all those stunts and getting hurt, has there ever been a time when you're like, no, I can't do this stunt. It's too dangerous or anything like that?
There has been. I went out to do a fight scene on a movie. I won't say who it is because then you'll know, somebody will figure out who the stunt coordinator was.
Right.
Anyway, I went out there and he says, okay, here's what we're going to do. And I was going to have a fight with this real well-known martial artist. And he says, what I want you to do is I want you to go up there. It's like 22 feet high out of this balcony. And he says, jump down and then you'll do the fight with the actor. And I said, okay, what am I landing in? And he goes, no, just jump down from there to, I said, from up there to the concrete, I'll break my damn legs, right? And he says like this, I said, just why don't we do a 2-shot? Which, if I was coordinating, you put the camera low, right at the bottom, and you see the guy jumping off, coming right at the camera, and then you shoot, you get a ladder, and you stand on the ladder, and you shoot from behind him, and then the second shot is, boom, hitting the ground, right? Or landing on your feet and fighting, and you just cut it together, and it looks like you went flying out of the thing, and then the next thing you see is you landing on the ground, and the fight starts. And I said, I'm not jumping up from there. He goes, well, I'll get the next guy to do it. So this other guy came in and he goes, I want you to jump down from there. And he goes, into what? The guy goes, all right, we're not doing this. Right. So, no, so yeah, that was going to get somebody hurt. So,
oh, absolutely.
Wow.
and I really didn't want it to be me. So, because, I'm kind of a scaredy guy. I mean, other than getting thrown off buildings and getting run over by cars and stuff, I'm kind of scaredy.
No. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather get ran over by a car than jump off a building any day.
No, I'll go for the jumping off the building.
But then again, who other than the person who actually does the stunt would know, okay, this is dangerous, we can't do it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of the stunt acting, how did you get into doing this? What made you decide I want to be a stunt man?
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, and if you look in the book, there's stories at one of the very first things. When I was 3 years old, my mom and dad took me to a John Wayne movie. And in the movie, one of the old Conestoga wagons goes flying off a cliff.
Yeah.
Well, after the movie, we're at our house, and our house had a split level and had stairs, inside. And my mom and dad are sitting there watching TV because we'd gone to the matinee because I was 3. And my dad says, I see you come ripping around the corner in your little pedal car heading right for the stairs. He says, and I took off after you, and I got there just in time to watch you launch off the top and go head first, hit the stairs, and with the thing, for which I received 2 black eyes for my effort. But he said, right then, I knew what you were going to do. He says, I knew that you were thinking back of how the thing went off, and the thing we just saw. And there you went. And after that, like, we had a party at his house in Oregon, and I was 13. And it was outside, it was, rural area and stuff. Just didn't seem like the party was going very well. So I decided to get my Honda 50, one that had the big long seat. And I come around the corner riding it, but I was standing on it as I went through the thing. And I was just looking at people just as I went through the party, standing on the seat. My dad goes, course, that one I received a sore behind for.
Yeah.
Justifiably so.
Right.
But I did give the people there a little excitement, going, stand on the seat and ride through where they were.
And that's always a good feeling.
Yeah. So, yeah, me and my roommate in college, his nickname was Psycho, and it was incredibly well deserved. We used to go and jump off the sides of the buildings and stuff into the high jump crash pads, So
Wow.
it's always pretty much in the back of my mind, even when I was a little kid,
So, what was it hard actually getting into movies to be the stuntman? I mean, what's the process like to go from this is what I want to do to actually being on the set doing this?
Well, if you don't know anybody or you're not born into it, usually if somebody in your family is in it, they'll just pull you in and you get a run that way. If you don't know anybody, you just gotta beg, plead, bribe, everything you can do to get in. I was lucky. I had been working out at this one place, karate studio, and the guy who owned the studio was one of the stunt guys for Chuck Norris, and he helped me get on my first movie, where I met Kane Hodder, and we both ended up being friends for 38 years now.
Wow,
that is awesome, dude.
It is awesome.
Well, I think that's only because each one of us is the only one that could put up with each other for 38 years. Nobody else just get away from us.
Okay, so the way that you guys put up with each other, how does RA fit into this?
Oh, RA is usually the victim.
Why does that not surprise me?
Biggest guy is always the victim.
Yeah.
But he's a good victim. I remember we were ghost hunting in New Orleans. We were doing Hatchet 2 down there. We were at a place called the St. Charles Hotel. And I said, let's go ghost hunt downstairs. And I got the night girl to say it was okay. So we're standing down there and we're filming it. Kane's standing there, RA's standing there, and I'm on the other side. And I see Kane just eyeballing, RA's head. And RA's got a big bald head and the beard. And he's looking, and he goes, thunk, and sucks him in the side of the head, right?
Just like that.
Just like that, out of nowhere. And RA goes like this. He goes, he turns around, looks at me, and he goes, hey, that squarehead guy just socked me in the head. Right? And I'm laughing. I said, what the hell was that sound when he hit you? With something clanked right now. And Kane goes, that's probably the plate in his head. I said, sounds like he's got the knife and the fork in there too. It's like clang.
So how'd you guys meet RA?
Well, Kane had worked with him on other movies earlier. I met him at the gym. Yeah. Kane actually was the stunt coordinator on Chainsaw 3. And that's where he met RA. By the way, you asked about how we do with RA too. RA is super, super proud of how big he is. He used to be a power lifter, and he's a big dude. And like I said, he's 6'5" and 340 pounds. Well, Kane and I will screw with him unmercifully, right? Anytime he's got a crowd around him at a convention or something, Kane and I will walk up there and I'll go, hey, RA, man, you're looking pretty big. And he'll go, yeah, thanks, right? And I'll say, what do you like, about 6'2" and about 265? And he'll look at me and he'll turn into Hulk Hogan, like that, right? He'll look at me and I go, well, let me tell you something right now, brother. I'm 6'5" and 340 pounds of coil steel and sex appeal, and he's doing the. And as soon as he says coil steel and sex appeal, Kane looks at me and goes, "You had sex with a banana peel?" Goes, no, that's not what I said. So we mess with RA a lot.
In my eyes now.
Right. I feel like
I don't think you make it sound like RA's stupid, because he's far from it. One of the things about our group, Kane is a member of Mensa, so he's no dope. That's the, you know what Mensa is?
Yeah,
It's,
I do.
yeah, the thing for people who have genius IQ.
Right.
RA is a trained Shakespearean actor. I mean, they're not, neither one of them is and me, I won 4 times on Sale of the Century. It's my claim to fame for being smart.
Wow.
We got a Facebook user. That's all it says. Facebook user. I feel like this dude like knows you or something. He's like always has the best funny stories, and the guy's just awesome. And I don't know.
Yeah. Whoever this is, identify yourself so you can be recognized.
Kane Hodder always likes to choke people when it comes to taking pictures. That's what he did when. I don't know.
That is true. That is absolutely true. But he doesn't do it anymore.
Really?
Because when Kane would choke people, he wanted him to really have the experience. And I had heard that there was one time that the person that he was choking went. So
Dang.
whether that's true or not, I don't know. But yeah, I wasn't there, so I just know that he doesn't choke anybody anymore.
Oh, right on.
Well, in this day and age, you can't do anything anymore. You know.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Yeah, not in today's society. And that's a shame too, because back then everybody could take whatever.
Yeah, I believe so.
That was part of the game. I mean, you know, if somebody got you, you got them back. If you got them, they got you back. That was, you know, that was the fun of the thing. You know,
It was. It is.
Yeah,
For the most part.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, okay, now I shouldn't say for the most part, but when you have the right person,
Right.
then it's just nonstop back and forth.
Yeah.
well, I got to tell you, if you get me and Kane together, it's really interesting. Matter of fact, one of the things in the book, there's a picture of me and Kane sitting in our director's chairs, you know, on the thing. We were doing a movie called Charlie's Farm in Australia, and you can see the names on the back of the chairs, but you can't tell who it is because our backs are to it. And I put in the book, I put in there, I said, if you're on a movie set sometimes and you don't like, you know, pranks and, you know, and you don't have a real good sense of humor, you just might want to run.
And after hearing some of these stories now,
dude, I couldn't imagine. Actually, I could.
I would run, but I would be watching.
You got to hang in there to see the fun.
Yeah.
By the way, also in the book, and I'm not trying to sell the book. Well, yeah, I am. Buy the damn book already. Ghost Believe in Me on Amazon. Buy the book already, because, you know, I need new underwear. But anyway, when we were in Mansfield Prison doing a movie, the guy had made, you know what Mansfield Prison is? They did the Shawshank Redemption there. They did part of Air Force One there, and it's a real creepy, haunted place, very haunted. And Kane and I were talking to one of the guys that was one of the producers, and he said, you know, I do the Halloween haunted house here. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah, we got a lot of this stuff all down in the basement. Kane and I looked at each other like, right? So he goes off, and we go down to the basement, right? And we find this really angry looking mannequin, looked like Angus Scrim on steroids. I mean, it was like, so we bring it up, and you had to go from the holding area where we're at in the front, you know, like the office area, and you walk through this one thing, and as you walk around the corner, there's like a 20-foot part of office. There's one office on one side and one on the other, and then you go into the cell block, and you're looking at the cell block. It's all rusty, scarier than crap. Well, we decided to put the thing right as you came around the corner in that office. And Kane put it where it was sticking out a little bit. I said, no, put it back farther so you can just see that something's there, and you got to stick your head in to see what it is.
Oh,
right?
no.
He goes, okay. So we turn around and we walk back to the holding area, and he looks at me, and it was, I mean, perfect timing. He goes, do you think anybody will notice it? And right then we heard a girl, the best movie screen in history. And I just looked at him and I said, yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm going with yes on this one.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
I would love to see, like some sort of a reality show with just you and him just being yourselves.
Oh Lord. Not only would you have to have a producer, director, and a bail bondsman.
And
just think of the entertainment value just from that alone.
I mean, the pranks and stuff, dude. It'd be absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
you'd have to have RA too, though, because you have to have some views all the time.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so with you, Kane, and RA, you guys are the Hollywood ghost hunters, right?
Ta-da!
Are there more members of your group?
They are, but they're kind of secret. That makes sense.
Ooh.
Okay. It does.
No, it does. Absolutely.
Some of them there are pretty well known people in the business, and they like the ghost hunting part, but they like the anonymity at the same time.
Yeah, we've actually got a couple of members of things that are like that too. They like to be with us and go out and investigate with us, but they don't want to be publicized.
Right. Same thing.
Yeah. My buddy Rodney says their shenanigans sounds like me and his shenanigans, and it's true. We play some pretty mean jokes and pranks on people.
Yep.
So besides, being a stuntman, what got you into the paranormal? Was there a personal experience?
Yeah, there really was. When I was 13 years old, and don't mind the candy.
That's okay. We got popcorn.
My grandfather died suddenly when I was 13, and he died in one of those cleaning the gun accidents, which, really,
Right.
But anyway, I lived in Chicago with my mom, and he wanted to be buried in Paducah, Kentucky. So my mom didn't have any money to speak of, so we took a train to Paducah along with my grandfather, who was back in the luggage department or baggage, whatever you want to say. And when we got there, we went over to the funeral home where they were going to have the ceremony the next day. And we decided, we hadn't had any time to get any reservations or anything else. So we just walked, we could see we're right near town. So, and I mean, like within a couple blocks, and it was perfect. So we walked and we saw this one place, and it was really creepy looking. I mean, it was not a high class hotel. It was a hotel that was probably 70 years old. And we walked in downstairs. You got to remember, now I'm 13 years old, right? Well, we get into the place, and my mother's worried about the money. And she asks the guy how much, and she goes, "Well, can we get a room?" And he goes, "Well, I only have one left, and I have to tell you, it's haunted." Well, I'm 13 years old. You know what my reaction was? Woohoo! Like, get the golden ticket to Disneyland. Yeah, it's haunted. Yes. Right? And
40 years old, I'm still like that.
Yeah, I am too. If I have something happen to me on ghost hunting, like, yeah, baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
But what had happened is when we got up there, the place looked like a volleyball court. Okay, it was all wood. And it was long and not real wide, but a little bit. And there were two long windows where there was neon coming in. Like I said, it wasn't the best part of town. Creepy looking to begin with, right? And my mother's bed was on one wall. Mine was on the other wall. They're probably 20 feet away. And the beds were on rollers, I guess, so you could put them anywhere in there where you wanted. But that seemed like it was going to work. We were going to be on opposite sides. So, it'd been a long day, so we went to bed. It was kind of late anyway. And in the middle of the night, I hear my mother scream. And I look up over at her, and her bed is coming across the room towards me. Oh. And she's sitting there looking at me. And then I realized that my bed was going the other way towards her. And the beds collided in the middle of the room, went bam!
Wow.
And I just looked at her, and she looked at me, and after like maybe 10 seconds, she went, "Yeah, guess the guy downstairs is right." Right? Now, there's more to the story. My mother was a really, really smart person. And this is when I was 13, as you can imagine by looking at me that it was not in the last couple of weeks. Okay, a long time ago. But this is before any of the TV shows, any of the ghost hunting shows, ghost movies, any of that.
Right.
So a lot of people didn't know about debunking, right? But my her idea was, let's figure this out. So I went over there. I took the bed back to where my bed was, and I shoved it as hard as I could. Went about 3 feet, right? So we knew something was pushing him the whole way, right? Then we took a glass and we put it on its side and tried to roll it to see if the floors were warped. Nothing. So after that, I was like, man, this shit's real. I got to get into this, you know? So that's really what started it.
That's crazy, man. I mean, I didn't even get that lucky.
I didn't either. That's quite a first experience story.
I answered a newspaper clipping. Hey, you want to be a paranormal investigator? We're looking for one. I answered it. Like, yeah, dude, I do.
Timing is everything, man.
I think so.
It is. Okay. Well, so now we know how you got into this. So how did you come up with Hollywood Ghost Hunters team?
Well, that also happened at Mansfield Prison. Kane was there, I was there, RA was there, but RA had just left, you know, because his scenes were done and off he went, which actually his scenes weren't done. They forgot about one scene, so I had to double him in that scene because they had monster stuff, so I had to double RA. But Kane and I had already finished, you know, our shooting for the day, and we had run of the entire prison, and this is supposed to be one of the most haunted places in America, and it is. It really is. And I'd never talked about ghost hunting to any of my friends or anything else, you know, just something I was, you know, doing myself. And Kane says to me as we're walking along, now you have to visualize this. There's like 4 or 5 stories of cell block. And on the other side, there's like moonlight coming in, 2 a.m. If you were shooting a movie about a haunted place, this was exactly the place and time to do it. Well, Kane looks over at me. We got the whole thing, the whole cell block to walk. He looks at me and he goes, let's ghost hunt. I didn't even know he's even into it, right? Turns out he used to go on Kwajalein Island where he grew up. Well, we were walking on the bottom. I went up to a couple levels and I'm walking, and I walked into this one place. I was kind of drawn into it. And while I was standing there, it felt like somebody was squeezing my chest. There was a pressure and it felt like someone squeezing. So I told Kane, I said, Kane, you know, come up here. It feels like somebody's squeezing this. And he goes, no. Mark the place and we'll have the other people come up and we won't say what happened and let them try it. So I'm thinking, how do I mark this? I don't have anything to mark it with. And I look up and above the door frame, there's a X above the door with a Sharpie, a black Sharpie. So I go to the other ones on each side, no X. So anyway, the other people came over. We'd get people to go up there every once in a while. They'd say, yeah. Some said it happened. Some said nothing happened. But we didn't tell them what happened. We just said, go in there and see if you feel anything. So we got some good feedback about that. But now there's more to that story too. But we went downstairs. We start walking. And I look up ahead of me and I see a shadow figure going across the wall way down at the end of the hall. And I turn around to look at Kane to see if he's seeing it. Nobody there. I went, the big scary Jason guy runs away? What the hell? Right? Well, what had happened was he ran, when I looked this way, he'd already started running and he ran behind me this way. And I look up and he's running right down the thing after it. And I was like, oh, if I'm starting a ghost hunting group, this has got to be the first dude in it. So that's how it got started. But the other part of this story about the X, about 3 months later, I'm sitting there watching Ghost Hunters on TV, which, by the way, their office, I can throw a rock outside my window and hit it. That's how close they are.
Oh, dang. Wow.
But I was watching that, and they were at Mansfield, so that interested me. So I'm watching, and the one guy's in his cell. He goes, oh, I feel like there's pressure on my chest. And I was like, wow. And one of them says, well, put a mark on it. You see the guy take a mark and put a black X above it with a Sharpie. And I went, they were there before us, and I saw their mark, you know. So little more validity to the story. They had, out of all these cell blocks, there's hundreds of cells. Their group and mine both ended up in the same cell, so that was kind of weird.
It is, but at the same time, it validates everything.
It absolutely does.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So with Hollywood Ghost Hunters, do you guys just mainly go to well-known locations, or do you get calls to do residences?
Well, lately we haven't been able to do too much because RA has been in Pennsylvania, and Kane has been doing the conventions and doing several movies. So it's been real hard for us to get together. But what we used to do all the time, and we'll do it again, is when we're on location, we'll find a haunted place to go on a day off. So we've actually been to Waverly Hills. We've been to Sloss Furnaces down in Alabama. We've been to Old South Pittsburgh. We've been to the Omen House out here. So we do get to some of the iconic places. As far as private residences, I do that. I grab another guy that I ghost hunt with, and he's a member, and we'll go off and go do that. And actually, one of the best things of evidence that I have was from a residence. This African American lady called me and said that her house was haunted, and I said, all right, I'll come over and look. So I grabbed one guy and we went over there. Now I have to describe this lady. She was like 60 and just bubbly personality. She should have been on a sitcom, right? I mean, she's just real sweetheart. Well, usually when I go ghost hunting, and I know people say this, but this, in my case, it's really true. I walked in, and usually I'll feel something. I'll say, all right, something's going on here as soon as I walk in the door. And nothing. Got out my equipment, went all through her. She had a loft apartment is what it was. We went all through there. Not a blip, nothing, right? So I went down, I said, Donna, I don't think your place is haunted. And then she says the words that a ghost hunter never wants to hear. She looks at me and she goes, oh, I don't think it is either. What? Why am I here? Right? And no, then she goes, I think something's attached to me. Okay, that happens. I've had it happen to me twice, and it's not fun. Trust me. I know what it is, and some of the things, some of the key things to look for somebody that has it, but I don't know how to quantify it, right? So I'm just thinking, how can I make her feel better, right? So I took my K2 meter and I ran it over. I said, look, it's not going off at all. I said, let me get my night vision camera, and I filmed her with the night vision, nothing. And I had just gotten the adapter for your phone that you can get infrared. Okay, thermal imaging.
Yep.
So I said, well, let's try this. This will, make her feel better. And I took a picture of her, I put it up there, and I went, what? Look back in there right now. I clicked the picture, and I'm like, holy shit, right? She had a thing in her stomach, on the right side of her stomach, that was roughly about this big. Now, on a thermal imager, they'll be like white, yellow, and orange, well, a person, because of the heat. Right? Now, an attachment is usually cold. Well, there was a black and purple spot right there. Now, I thought it might have been a camera anomaly, right? So I said, spin around. Still there. So I said, Donna, can you do me a favor? And she goes, what's that? I said, can you walk up the stairs and come back down? So I filmed her coming down the stairs. Same thing. Now, she gets down, and she goes, well, what do you think? I said, well, first off, you should go see your doctor tomorrow, because you may have a blockage, having something that cold right there, it might be something health related. I'd get it checked out. And she goes, well, if it is an attachment, what can I do? And I said, well, from what I understand, and I said, all of this is conjecture by everybody, but you have to tell it to get lost. And she goes, really, do I need to get mad? And I said, let's put it this way. Pretend you just found your boyfriend having sex with your sister. And she goes, oh, that man. I said, that, and then some. So she looks at me and she goes, can I use my faith? And I said, of course you can, right? And I wish I would have filmed her. It would have been so wonderful, because she goes like this. She goes, she takes her little hands and puts them in a fist, and she goes, "The power of God commands you!" Right? And I thought I was watching one of them shows on Sunday. Get out! Get out! I mean, she was so sincere, I almost left. Right? Wow. Right. So after about a minute or so, she, calms down, and she's spent. She's used her energy up. She's standing there. She's like, I said, just take a couple minutes. And then I took a picture, and it's gone.
Just like that.
Gone. And I have it on film. I've shown it on the pictures, and other people go, "Holy cow!" And then I said, "Look real close at the first picture." They said, "Okay," and they looked real close at there's a figure standing behind her. I said, "Yep." So very interesting.
Dude, that is awesome, man.
It is.
That is, yeah.
It is, and especially the way that she reacted.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, she went for it. Let me tell you. She didn't leave anything in the tank. The power! Ah! I was like, stop it, you're scaring me.
I'd probably be the same way if I was there.
Oh, she meant it though. She was going for it. And what happened? I can't really tell you. Nobody really knows. But there was a very cold spot on her. Right, because she had nothing underneath her tunic or anything else, and it was there when she went up the stairs. It was when she told me she had an attachment, and after I told her how to get rid of it, it was gone. Wow. Make of it what you will.
Now, have you ever been to a place where you just got totally creeped the hell out, or was like, nope, this place ain't for me, I'm done?
No.
He's a big guy. He probably intimidated him. They probably went and hid or something.
Yeah.
No. I've gone to places that were very, very active, and they were scary. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you a story. I think somebody's at my door. Hang on.
Roger that. Probably Kane.
I hope not.
Dude.
So while we're taking this break here, I did forget one thing here. I want to make one last plug at an event that's happening in Vermont tomorrow night at the Wilson Castle that Matt Warner of Warner Paranormal and Jason Baker Photography are hosting. Right now, all the VIP spots are sold out. So congratulations to all of those that are going to be able to stay there.
Guys.
But there are still 10 of the $75 general admission tickets where you can be able to investigate not only with Matt and Jason, but they're also going to have some special guests out there as well. But they got 10 of those. If you want to go there and investigate this location, it is from 7 p.m. to midnight tomorrow night. So grab them before they all sell out.
And we apologize, but we want to say hi, Jenny. Hi, Alberta. Hi, Nick. Hi, Rodney. Crystal, thank you for always having our back. And Angela, if you're still here, just hi, everybody. Thank you for joining in and supporting us. We appreciate it more than you guys ever know.
Yeah.
Especially us two.
Yeah.
Of all people. Like,
we've been fortunate so far. We've had so many comments about this show and such love shown. It's just been wonderful.
Yeah, it has been.
And you guys are making that all possible.
Absolutely.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
I had to go get some more Smarties.
Ah, man. Dude, I'm going to find you some Smarties.
I've been looking. Trust me. I've been looking.
Halloween's coming up. I'm 5'1", 100 pounds. I can trick or treat.
By the way, with Halloween coming up, and I talked to you yesterday, and you were asking me about movie magic and things like that.
Uh-huh.
Dude, he's going to show me something I'm going to freak out over.
Ooh. I like that.
Dude, that is awesome.
Now, this was from a movie called Love in the Time of Monsters. Okay. And it was supposed to be a Bigfoot that got burned. Or fell into a lake that had toxic chemicals in it, and see all the stuff on the back.
Yeah.
And this one is actually my head.
What? That is awesome, dude.
If you see the glass sticking out of the eye,
Right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Dude, that is awesome.
it is.
Now, to get this, you have to do what's called life cast, which means they take plaster of Paris, you sit there, and they put it over your face, and they give you a straw to breathe through. Okay, and you wait until it's all dried up, and then they pull it off. A lot of people freak out. A lot of people can't do it. They were shaking me. They said, "Make sure you relax. Just relax." So they started shaking me, and they said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I was sleeping."
Dude, I would be panicking.
I took a nap.
Something like that would bring up the claustrophobia for a lot of people.
Oh, dude,
It probably do the same thing for me. Like, I cannot have anything over my nose. Period.
No way.
I mean, yeah, I can breathe through my mouth and everything, but I have to be able to breathe through my nose.
It's not for everybody. A lot of people cannot do it.
Yeah. So how long would something like that take to harden up?
Good question. I was asleep. I would say it takes like at least a half an hour, maybe longer.
Yeah.
So
that's not too bad, though. I mean, 30 minutes.
Not long. When you think about how long you guys have to sit going through makeup and costumes and all of that.
Well, this is just for it to harden. I mean, they got to put the layer after layer after layer on you to begin with. So it's an hour and a half or so to do the whole deal.
I mean, if you can get past the psychological part of it, you can probably do it.
Yeah.
Well, the people are sitting right there.
Right.
Yeah.
If Kane was there, I wouldn't do it. He'd steal my straw.
Or put something in the end.
He would definitely be doing some crap to you, that's for sure. Okay, so so you've done a lot of pranks, not only to Kane and to RA. You've pranked a lot of people. What that you can tell us? What would you say is your favorite prank you've ever pulled on somebody?
No, I would go to jail for that one.
Well, one drink and do that probably would have spent.
I go to jail for that one too. Let me think.
Yeah.
No, I got nothing. Nothing I can tell you in public. But there are many. Trust me. And so some of the things we've said to people and got away with is something else too. So it's kind of fun being a jerk sometimes.
Well, and when you're 6'4", kind of can be.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to be able to do anything to him.
I'll kick him in the shin.
My younger brother was the world heavyweight kickboxing champion.
Okay, never mind.
And he was actually ranked number 13 in the world in professional boxing as a cruiserweight.
Damn.
And he retired undefeated in both. But he told me one day, he goes, "Yeah, if you and me ever fight," he says, "I'm going to kick you in your bad knee." I said, "Really? It's pretty stupid." And he goes, "Why?" I said, "It's already bad. Kick me in my good knee." Yes. Think about this for a second. What are you going to do? Hurt my knee? It's already hurt.
Yeah, right.
Yes, I still got one good knee, so I can do some damage with that one.
So since we've been talking about the paranormal, what is the one place you absolutely want to go investigate?
Gettysburg. Was that fast enough?
Absolutely, dude. That's amazing.
Wow.
Gettysburg. Although, I have had a chance to do a lot of the iconic locations. Not only here, but I go ghost hunting for a month every year in Scotland. And I've been lucky enough to go to some really, really haunted locations in England and in Ireland. you guys have the book. You should read the last chapter, because in the last chapter, it talks about Lep Castle in Ireland.
That's definitely one place I want to go to.
You hear me, Jenny?
And I got attached by something, and this is no lie, because one of the things I do in the book, if something happens and somebody else was there, I let them put their version in too. Okay, not just mine, because I can tell you anything I want if nobody else is going to say anything, right? So I wanted anybody else that was there to say their version. Well, the one guy that was there, I was there with the Scottish Paranormal guys, which I actually happen to be a member of, and I'm in their Hall of Fame, believe it or not. And the only reason I say that is because, well, I'm not in any other Hall of Fame, and I don't expect to be in any others, so I want to brag about it for a second. So yeah, there it was. But anyway,
but well deserved, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Probably not, but I'll take it. But anyway, the guys that were with me at Lep Castle, one of them ran into the Lord of the Manor and Lord of the Castle. He says, "I think you better get an ambulance, because I think Rick is going to die." And while I was out in the car, Rick was thinking the same thing. So, yeah, there's some things that happen ghost hunting that are far beyond what you can imagine.
And you like you just said, every year you host a hunt for people to go with you in Scotland, right?
Well, this is new. I have hosted hunts over there. I had a para-unity hunt that I had at the Real Mary King's Close, which is a very haunted location. It's actually goes underground, and there's part of the city, the old-time city from like the 1600s, I guess. And it is very haunted. Well, I'd been guest of Scottish Paranormal many times before I was a member. And my friend was actually the manager of Real Mary King's Close. So he said, "Why don't you get some friends and ghost hunt this place?" I said, "No, I know how much you'll charge me, you dirty bastard." And he said, "No, I won't charge you anything." I said, "I want a better rate." Right. So anyway, I called up the Scottish Paranormal. I said, "Yeah, you want to send 2 or 3 guys down here? We'll do this, and I'm going to get some other people." And I got a friend of mine, Brian Harley, who runs Premier Paranormal in Scotland. He'd taken me many places. So he and a girl, Anne, came. And I called up another group, Anubis Paranormal, that's in England. And they had taken me to a couple places. And both of the places we went were majorly haunted. And I had a para-unity conference there, hunt. And one of the things that I did, nobody could hunt with the other person in their group. They had to hunt with the other people. So, we would switch off after a couple hours and, switch up the things. It turned out to be really, really fun, and very active too. I mean, even both groups said, "Boy," it's in the book too, by the way. Yeah, right now, the other thing that you're talking about, I've been named the ambassador for a tour that's going to Scotland next July 11th. It's 9 days and 8 nights, I believe it is. And we're going to go to some of the most fantastic castles. We're going to ghost hunt at 3 different places. And, I can't wait to go. I mean, I really cannot wait, because I really want to see how other people react to Scotland, seeing it the way I do. I love the place. So,
yeah, and with that, Jenny Sunyancy from Ireland, she's here with us right now. Jenny, go to that event. I know you're going to have a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah, and she wants to know if you're going to come back to Ireland.
Probably. I'll probably go back to Lep Castle.
There you go, Jenny.
Yeah.
Even though I thought I was going to die. And I'm serious. Read that last chapter. It's as terrifying as a thing you'll ever read. Another place that we were in Ireland was the Hellfire Club, and
that's where I want to go.
It's a very good thing, but it's surprising when you get there, because it's like a mile uphill that you have to walk up there, which made it, with my knee at the time, was really interesting. But I made it. Coming down was even worse with a bad knee. But once we got up there, and one of the reasons Scottish Paranormal had invited me, is because one of my relatives had been a member of the Hellfire Club, a man named John Wilkes.
Really?
And we get up there, and they have a Frank's box that they're trying, to get some responses from. And I walked up to them and I said, "You guys mind if I try?" And they said, "No, go ahead." So Eileen and Jonathan were standing there, and they also put in the Eileen puts in the book what she heard. I walked up and I said, "Hi, my name's Rick, and I came all the way from the United States to come talk to my relative, John Wilkes." And it says a couple of words, and then it goes, "Relative?" And they kind of, pop their heads up. And I said, "Yeah, I'm your relative. I just came by to say hi." And it goes, "Hi, Rick." And now they're like, their jaws dropped. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I've never gotten this good of response. And finally I said, because this is one of the most famous things about the Hellfire Club, I said, "This is going to tell me for sure if you're my relative or not. Did you really dress a baboon up like Satan and turn him loose into the club?" Right? And it said a couple words, and then it went, "Baboon." And I mean, they were just, holy crap. So, yeah, it's, and like I said, Eileen talks about it because she was standing there and she says the same thing. Actually, she says something a little different. She's got the relative and the high Rick transposed with what I said, but it's the same story. So that's okay. Yeah. So that is a place that you'll really want to go because it's very active. I mean, and now all you ghost hunting people are listening to me saying that's very active. This is very active. I have sat on my big butt alone in castles, for hours on time and walked home going, well, that sucked. So
Right.
I've been to many, many places, that nothing happened, so, but that wouldn't be very fun to put in a book, would it?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went this place, nothing happened.
So
You
people
know.
want to know what your favorite piece of equipment is.
Well, I have a piece of equipment that I love that most people will poo-poo. But when, real hardcore ghost hunters watch the way that I use it, I mean, they're like, holy crap. I use the K2 meter, okay? And I have gotten such great reaction from it. I've learned how to tell when it's a fake signal, when it's not, because that does happen. But, when it's electricity, because that's generally solid lights instead of the flickering. But anyway, I do different things than other people do with it. Matter of fact, we went to a place called Wemyss Caves in Scotland. I was with the Scottish Paranormal guys again. And we went into these caves, and I took out my K2, and he goes, "Oh, it won't work in here." Turned it on, and I said, "What's the name of the girl that you say is in here?" And they said, "Mary." I said, "Mary, are you here?" And it goes, "All 5 lights." And they go, "What?" Right? I said, "Yes, make sure, is this Mary?" And it goes, "All 5 lights" again. Right? So I said a couple other sentences, and it answered, and then it was gone. But they look at me like, "Man, how did you do that?" And I said, "That's what I do," But the one that is the most impressive, I think, is actually at a place that nobody would ever think of ghost hunting. One of the hotels that I stayed in, I got to be friends with the guy at the front desk, and he told me the hotel was haunted. So I asked him, I said, "Where's the most haunted place?" He goes, 2 levels below. I said, "What's down there?" And he goes, "Well, that's where, all the equipment it is and stuff." He says, "It's not, no rooms down there." So we go down, and he gets, the bell rings. He has to run upstairs, let somebody in. So he comes back down, and I'd been getting some reaction. So I just told him, because it was his first time ghost hunting. He's all excited. I said, "Here, you hold the K2, right?" So he's holding it, and I was talking to it, and I said, "All right, there was a spirit I was talking to before." I said, "Are you still here?" And it goes up to 4 or 5 lights. And he's kind of shocked because he'd never seen it react. I said, "Let me make sure. Are you the spirit I was talking to?" And it does it again. And I told him, I said, "Double check everything, make it tell you twice." So anyway, I did a couple more questions, which it was responding to. But the really cool thing was, I said, "Now watch this, pay attention." I said, "Is there anybody else here with you?" And it goes all 5 lights. I said, so there is somebody here with you, right? And it goes all again. I said, all right, I'm going to start counting. If you would light this up when I get to the amount of spirits that are here with you, we can still communicate. So I go, are there 2? And it goes, brrr. I said, and he looks and he goes, wow, that's the answer. And I said, are there 3, 4? And he's looking at me like, they just told you it was 2. And I said, 5. And nothing. And I went, 2. And it goes all 5 lights again. And he goes, oh, I get it. So, I do things a little bit different to, be able to validate what it had said earlier. So I really do like using the K2, and I've got some really good stuff with it.
That's awesome. Yeah. And then a lot of people, like you said, you can validate. There's some things that are kind of iffy at points with the K2 as long as you get to validate them. And you're absolutely right. I mean, it can be a great piece of equipment.
Well, in this same video,
right?
And this further validates it. When I first started, and I got the 5 lights, and then it came on again. It stayed, and I said, "All right, step back." So if you're too close to this, it's going to go off. So step back. So it goes to 1 light. Instantly goes to 1, right? So we're going farther, then it sticks, and I said, "Go to 1," and it instantly goes to 1. Now you can have a false positive because something may be around, but you're not going to get a false negative where it drops for you when you ask it to.
Right.
So,
And that is awesome.
It is.
That gives you a little more validity to it. All right, step back, go to 1, and it does it.
What's awesome is, Rick likes just an easy, basic equipment. I'm the same way, man. I don't need nothing high tech, probably because I just can't operate them that well. But hey.
No, what I like to use is not even considered a piece of equipment.
What if you got a chalkboard and a piece of chalk, or you draw the figures you see? What
dude? Yeah, there you go.
Actually, what I like to use is a dog whistle.
A what?
A dog whistle.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you know they're responding after you do the dog whistle?
Well, because every time that I've used it, I've experienced something that I've never experienced before. The very first time I used it, something was actually at the jail in Crown Point, Indiana, the one that John Dillinger escaped from. I got poked in the back shortly after having that happen. Then later on, I used it at Waverly Hills. And right after I used it, it looked like something was trying to manifest itself right in front of me. And again, I'd never had anything like that happen before.
I may have to try that. That's something I hadn't heard of before, and it sounds really interesting.
Yeah, well, to me, it just seems like, because whenever we're getting EVPs, they're talking to us on a frequency that we cannot hear, but our audio recorders can capture it. So I'm thinking, okay, well, what if I try to do something on their frequency that we don't hear? What do we have? And the dog whistle was the first thing that came to mind.
No, that's actually brilliant.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
That really is. I mean, when you think about it.
And I actually had a team out in New York called U&I Research. They are a major research and experimentation group, and I was talking to them about it. So they took the idea and ran with it at a location that they'd gone to many times before. And the way that they do things is that they actually have charts and graphs from each of the locations that each time that they've been to this particular location, which is Wildwood Sanitarium in Salamanca, New York. And everything seemed to be very consistent each time that they've been there. So they would take the dog whistle this one time, and it just broke the trend on every level. So
I think you might be onto something there.
Dude, that's awesome, brother, man.
It is awesome.
Good job.
It is awesome. And it's so glad that even though it's something that seems to be as silly as a dog whistle to use in this field that this team was able to validate my theory.
I don't think there's really anything that's silly to use. I really don't. I mean, I think there's some things that just don't work, you know. But I don't think there's anything that's silly to use if you can use it. You know, there's some people like I can use a K2 meter. I can make it do things other people can't most of the time, right? But the dog whistle, who says that's not going to work?
Right.
You know,
yeah, I've had several people tell me, that's not going to work. It's like a stupid idea or whatnot. I'm like, don't knock it until you try it.
Well, you know where I'm going tomorrow, don't you?
I think I have an idea. And the thing is, it's really cheap. It's not like some $50 that you're spending on a KT, although that's really not bad.
No, it's not.
Or
actually.
several $100s to spend on whatever. This was only cost me $4.
So I'm saying, brilliant.
So I'm hoping that more teams get into. And now, it's not to say that they're all going to be able to validate something, but what's the harm in trying? It's only $4.
Well, here's what I might do. I have a thing. Dark Zone TV is having a live pay-per-view event from the Queen Mary. The 3 days before Halloween and on Halloween. I'm actually one of the people that will be ghost hunting on Halloween itself.
Cool.
Very awesome.
If I have a chance, I might have a dog whistle in my pocket.
Dude, that is awesome.
That would be badass. It would be. I would love to see that. I would love to hear your results from that one if you do get a chance to do that. But being at the Queen Mary, one thing that I would love to see is if somebody were to try using an audio recorder, do an EVP session, but only trying to communicate using Morse code.
That would be interesting too. You know what? I got to tell you a real quick story. When we did, because when you said Morse code, that's a really great idea. When we did the, when my group did Ghost Hunted on Ghost Adventures, after about a year after we did that, it was at the Pico House episode, in case anybody wants to look it up. After we did that, about a year later, a group called and asked if we would come down with them. Well, Kane was gone, so RA and I went down there. And Nick Groff and I had a lot of really good things happen down in the basement across the building. Mm-hmm. And I was telling them the story, and I said, Nick and I had really kind of got flummoxed a little bit because once we would be at one end of the hall, all the noise would be at the other end. We'd go down there and do it at the other end. So something was messing with us. One time it turned on his spirit box. We could hear it turn on, and but we were hearing walking above us, and the security had cleared the entire building. There's nobody in it. But the weirdest thing was we started walking down because we heard the walking above, and we heard somebody running on what sounded like steel stairs. When you hear bam, 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 like somebody's really sprinting up the stairs. So we go down there. Well, the end of the hall, they had it blocked off on this side, so you couldn't go that way. And we went to the other side, and the only stairs we found were made out of cement. Okay, but at this night, I was telling them that story, and the guy goes, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Come with me." Comes down, and he goes around the corner where we hadn't been able to go, opens up the door, and there's a steel staircase. So,
oh, dang. I mean,
we heard it without doing that. But here's the point I wanted to get when you talked about the Morse code. The idea of the Pico House is that there was a race riot between the white people, the Hispanic people, and the Asians. Because the Asians had the tong there, and they were trying to take over the whole place, and they killed the Irish cop. And, the Hispanic people and the white people ganged up on the tong. And there were, I think, 18 or 19 people killed right there where the Pico House is.
Dang.
Right. So we were downstairs, and I had out my trusty K2, and I'm asking questions, and nothing, absolutely nothing. Suddenly it dawned on me, wait a minute. And I asked the group, I said, is there anybody here that can speak Spanish? This girl says, yeah, I can. I said, would about 10 seconds after I asked the question, would you ask it again in Spanish? So she did that, and every time she would ask, the K2 would go off. So sometimes you got to think a little out of the box.
Absolutely.
It's just like when you go to a castle in the 1500s in France and you're talking to them in English and you're expecting a response.
Not going to happen.
Nobody there spoke English,
No. Or unless if they recognize the English language, because if I remember right, I think the English and the French weren't exactly on the best of terms.
No.
During that time. So if you do talk to them in English, they might respond back to you not so pleasantly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. That'd be interesting to do, though, just to find out.
Mm-hmm. It would be, yes.
A lot of people don't realize that France actually pretty much won the Revolutionary War for us against England, because the one thing that we did not have was a navy. And when the British came over, with a gazillion ships and everything else, the French came over and, took them on our behalf.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I actually just read about that recently. There was one of them special edition Time magazines, I think it was, talking about the Revolutionary War. But no, I'm sorry, about the founding fathers and what led to the creation of the USA, and that story was in there.
Right on.
Yeah, I remember reading about that, and I did not know it. It's always interesting.
I don't think anybody knows the history anymore.
Well, it seems like nowadays they're actually trying to change what our history was.
Oh, yeah. History is history. You can't change it.
No.
I can't go back and not fall down that hill, although I'd like to. But it's history. I cannot change what happened. That's what happened.
Yeah. There was some things in my past I would like to change too, but can't.
Me too.
I will tell you a story real quick.
Okay.
There was this really pretty girl that I really liked at my gym, an actress, perfect girl next door and everything else. And she would come up and she would taunt me every day. I mean, she had her little entourage, and she would say things to me because she knew I'd be a smart ass and give her an answer. And finally, one day I was going out to my car and she follows me out to my car. And she walks up to me. She goes, "I'm tired of going out with the bad boys. Will you go out with me?" And I looked at her and I went, "No." And she goes, "I know you." She goes, "I know you like me." I said, "I do." She goes, "Why won't you go out with me?" I said, "You live with a guy." And she goes, "Well, I know." I said, "Well, no, I'm not gonna." I said, "If that stops, I want you to be the first person you come to. But I don't mess with people's girlfriends and things like that, wives and girlfriends. I believe in that kind of stuff. But I do believe I want a 13th, mug."
Oh, the mug, dude! I definitely send you the mug.
Yeah. But somebody said, "Well, how do you feel about that?" And I said, "Well, to tell you the truth," I said, because like that girl I really had the hearts for her, right? They said, and my friend says, "Well, how do you feel about that?" I said, "It's okay." I said, at night when I get up to go to the bathroom, I slam my face into the wall a few times as I go by.
Dude, I think I'd be that way too. I'd be like, "Ugh, dang it." Ugh.
Well, I got to make a suggestion to you guys. I don't know if you've been to Scotland or England and Ireland, but the ghost hunting over there is 100% different than here. I mean,
Sure it is.
Well, first off, they've got 10 times at least the history that we have because we haven't been around that long, right?
Oh,
I mean, you go to these places and stuff happens. I mean, outlandish stuff happens, and any real ghost hunter that wants to go out there. I mean, England, Scotland, Ireland are all very haunted, and in major amounts. I mean, it's not like you say here in California you got like 3 places that are haunted. You go to Scotland, every freaking place is haunted. I mean, it's really cool. They have abandoned castles. If you want to go ghost hunt them, you know what you do?
Mm-hmm.
There's no red tape. There's no things. There's no security guards. You go in and you ghost hunt the place. If you fall down and break your leg and you take him to court, the judge is going to look at you and go, so let me get this right. You went into a place that you don't own. You went into a place that you weren't invited and you fell down and it's his fault. Get out of my court.
Yeah.
That's the way they are over there, you know.
I think I would like this.
Scotland's like number one on my list.
Yeah.
With, you know, an island and, you know.
Well, save up your money and go with me in July.
Dude, I would love to do that.
It would be
Absolutely,
awesome.
dude. I mean,
it would be awesome. I
Think about
always wanted to go all over Europe.
after you got back.
What's that?
Think about the show you could do after you got back.
No, not after we get back. Hell, we're doing the show while we're there.
Yeah.
Good thinking. Good thinking. But yeah, one thing I would suggest now that I'm in my 50 teens, that travel, go places and ghost hunt. You know, I waited so long to do it. You know, now I go every chance I get. You know, this will be my 7th straight year going for a month to Scotland. So hope to get over to England again. Had some really good adventures there. Ireland had a couple of good adventures at the 2 places we went. You know, the last one, Lep Castle. I guarantee you, after you're going to read it, you're just going to go, "Holy crap, that was close." You know, and I don't mean to sound melodramatic or stuff, but I knew that within the next couple of minutes I was going to be dead. And then I believe whatever was attached to me because I said something went and left me. But I mean, everything was happening. I could feel all my energy drain out. I was just laying there and, you know, my vision was going. And, you know, the iris that goes whoop on the end of the movie? Absolutely. My vision started doing that. And I went, oh, boy, I know what that means. Right. So,
right on.
Wow. I'll tell you what, I've always wanted to go to Europe. I mean, anywhere in Europe. I've got a lot of Italian heritage in me, so obviously Venice, Italy is my main place. But when you're talking about either Scotland, Ireland, or England, even though it's not necessarily purported to be haunted, it's still like the number one place for me is Stonehenge. That's where I want to go, Stonehenge. Just be there.
Let me give you a little insight. You would be very disappointed.
Well, it's not that I'm over there to check out to see if it's haunted or anything.
No, I'm just saying you would be disappointed in general in Stonehenge.
Oh, really?
It's not all that. I mean, I was going to go, and I had so many people that lived there went, don't go.
Really?
Don't go. Yeah, they said it's not worth it. Do not go. So when the locals are telling you and your friends are telling you it's not worth it, I'll tell you where I would like to go. I would like to go to Thermopylae in Greece. Now, some people will know what that is. That's where the 300 Spartans took on,
the Persians.
Yeah, the Persian army. And I mean, like all the Persian army.
Yep.
It was the movie 300 was made on it. It's actually a true story. The 300 actually held off like 100,000, maybe more Persian army for several days until the archers took them out, is what actually happened. And the fact that the Ethiopians let the back door open.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, if there's going to be any residual things there, you got to think we're 300 Spartans fighting for their lives, and the Persians, I mean, lots of Persians died. Matter of fact, what a lot of people don't know is the Persian Navy sunk before the battle. And everybody always kind of wonders about that because, all the spells and things people were casting. But when they came around to engage, they hit a very bad storm. And they lost almost the entire Navy to the point that the Greeks went out with their small Navy and were beating them senseless.
Dude, that is awesome. I didn't even know that.
No.
And I love history. I'm just saying.
Hey, it's always nice when you learn something new.
It is, brother.
Yeah. Okay. I'd like to talk to you about your book. Um, what made you decide to write this?
Well, I do conventions and stuff, and I've had so many people tell me, "God, you've got so many really great stories. Why don't you write a book?" Right? Well, I have a magazine called Hollywood Ghost Hunters Magazine, which right now we haven't been able to put it out because um, the guy that was putting it up has gone. So I'm looking to find another person that'll do it to put the content on the web. Uh, by the way, the next celebrity interview will be Steve DeShavi from Dead Files. That's already been done. Um, but I had written down all these stories of things that had happened to me to put in the book later on, and I realized I had about 20 of them. And I went, I'm halfway done with the book right now. All I have to do is put them together, right? Yeah. So I put that together, and the rest of the stories, were all recent, and boom, it. What really took me so long was wasting my time trying to format the book for Amazon. Because I've got a lot of pictures in the book. Well, you looked at the book. There's a lot of pictures in there.
Yeah.
And I was using Word, which is not. Don't do that if you're trying to write a book and put pictures in it, because the pictures will not stay where you try to put it, no matter what you do, no matter what you do that Word tells you to do. The next time you open it, the pictures will be on different pages. All the text will have moved.
Right.
Ugh, nightmare. So finally, I found a formatting place that was cheap enough to use, and they knocked it out in 3 days. And after that, I was off to the races. But yeah, I really wanted people to hear some of the stuff that happened to me, because I have had some really unusual things happen. So just thought I would share it with people, because I've read some ghost hunting books, and some were good, some were not so good. And I thought this would be more a first-person account of hunts.
That's awesome. Do you plan on writing a second book?
I hope so. I'm actually writing another book right now, but it's fiction. So, but yeah,
Okay.
Will I write another book? Yeah, because there were a lot of stories I didn't put in this one. I've been doing this for a long time. So I mean, I was doing this long before there were any paranormal shows or anything else. I remember ghost hunting. Oh, by the way, prank alert. This is in the book. My roommate, Psycho, once again, aptly named, and another guy named Scott went out to go ghost hunting at Bachelor's Grove in Chicago. Okay. And when we got out there, you have to understand how it was. It was in the forest preserve, and it has a long gravel road going into it. The trees are overhung over the top. It looks like a place you should film a horror movie. And when you get there, off to the right is this small cemetery, old-time cemetery. Well, we get out there and we're looking around. And back then, if you got caught in there, you went to jail. Okay. So we're out there and we're standing there looking, and there were 3 graves that were about 1.5 feet sunken in, or they had taken the casket out, maybe. But we're standing there. We hear, a car coming down the gravel. Well, when you're out there, there's no place to go. There's the grove that you can't get through. There's nothing there but a couple of little headstones. I mean, you can't hide behind those. And we can't run out into the road. The car's coming down the road. So I looked at the other 2 guys and I said, let's lay in the graves. Right? And well, my feeling was the cops would just go out their window and drive away. Right. And we'd be below where the thing would see us. So we're laying in there, and I hear a car door close, and I went, oh, crap. Right. and then, they're getting out to look, and here we are laying in the graves. Well, right then I hear this girl goes, honey, I'm scared. Right. And the guy goes, and this guy goes, don't worry, honey, I'll protect you. And I'm like, oh boy. You're gonna be fun. It is so on. Right. So then I hear another car door close, and another guy goes, come on, don't be afraid, we're okay. So I hear him coming, and I said to Psycho, I said, tell Scott, when I count to 3, sit up, look straight forward, then turn and look at them. Right. So they got closer, and I went 1, 2, 3, and we sat straight up, went all of us at the same time, and that was 1975. And judging by the way they screamed, they're probably still running. So I mean, totally. That's actually in the book. It's called the totally unplanned prank. So that we were just hiding to begin with, but then a prank came upon me, and I had to unleash it.
Well, when you see an opportunity like that, you just can't pass it up.
Yeah, you just can't pass something up. I mean,
if you tee the ball up, I'm going to take a swing at it. That's just the way it is.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was.
Yeah,
that was
I would
really
have
cool.
to say that would probably be the best prank to pull at a cemetery.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
To go just to walk out and watch someone come out of the grave and just 3 people look at you, I'm gone, bro.
Well, the fact that we all sat up exactly the same way, straight, and all looked over at the same time, they're like, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Man, that would have been so awesome if that was.
He's the type of guy that I want to hang around with and just pull pranks on people, man. I'm not lying, dude.
Well, you wouldn't want to hang around with me and Kane because we like that because then we have a victim.
That's all right because everybody needs a short friend.
I had a short friend. Psycho was 5'7".
He's shorter.
I'm shorter, like a lot shorter.
Well, my stepmother is 5 foot tall, and I'll pick
Really
myself.
taller than that.
No, I looked at her one time. I said, "Boy, you're short." She goes, "I'm not that short." I said, "Come on, I saw you playing handball against the curb." So,
Wow.
Hey, I don't take that offensive. I don't hit my head on things when I walk underneath it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're
I
lucky.
bet you when you take a shower, you get from here up clean too. I get from here down, and that's it. I got to lay down in the tub, and it's a tough deal.
Well, I think only once have I ever taken a shower where the shower head was like almost hitting my head, and I'm thinking, who the hell they make this for? Like, you can't get much shorter.
Him?
No, if it's hitting me in the head, yeah, no way. What's it gonna do? Wash his feet?
Well, yeah, they need washing too, and they need washing bad most of the time.
Yeah. So when you were talking about all of these personal things here in your book, was it difficult to write about some of these stories knowing how personal they were?
Lep Castle was.
Yeah.
Definitely was. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm trying to sell people on this and stuff, but it was the most eye-opening, terrifying experience I've ever had. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, just to be honest. There was a part in it when we got there, and I got out of the car, and it was cold and windy. And we were there about an hour early, and we got out. The guys went to go use the bathroom, and I was just sitting there, going, man, this is cool. The cold air and the wind and stuff. We'd been in the car for a while. I was like, yeah, this is really cool. I like this. I'm digging this. Well, the really weird thing that happened was they got back in the car. All the Scottish guys who should be used to the cold get back in the car, and I'm standing out there, and all of a sudden. And the way I described it to him at the time, it felt like a spear hit me in the eye. I felt it go through my head and boom, out the back. And I actually felt it. And my knees buckled from the pain. And I grabbed my eye, and I mean, water was gushing out of it. So what I thought had actually happened is that my eyeball had exploded, because that happens sometimes. I mean, I thought something really bad, or I had a brain aneurysm or something. Something was not right. And I mean, I was barely conscious. I mean, that's how hard it hit me. And I went back, and I was staggering, And I looked down at the ground and I went, Rick, you've been doing stunts for 500 years. You know how to fall, go to the ground. And I heard a voice in my head saying, if you hit the ground, you'll never get up. So being the smart guy that I am, I said, well, let's not hit the ground then, shall we?
Yeah.
So I did everything I could to stay up, and I actually staggered back to the car. And I heard somebody calling me, and it sounded like they were 100 yards away. I heard someone, Rick, way off in the distance. And I looked up. I was at the back of the car, and Allie was at the front of the car yelling for me. That was so messed up. It was really, really bad. Anyway, he got me in the back of the car, behind it, and gave me some water. And he says, get back in the car. I said, no, leave me out here. Maybe this will make me better. But I was still kind of wobbly, my head was still woozy and everything else. So he says in the book that he looked back out and he couldn't see me. So he got out and he saw me hanging by one hand off the car. And I was, as white as could be, and I couldn't breathe. He said, you could tell because I was going, trying to breathe. And he says this is his own words. He says, I looked at Rick. He says, and I just knew if he fell, he wouldn't get up again. So it's the same thing that I had kind of heard. So he grabs me and they get me back in the car and I'm sitting in there. They go into hunt because I demanded they did. They wanted to stay with me. I said, I'll be all right. Let me just relax. And it got worse. So from there, it got worse. So read it. You've got the book. But now I want to tell you another story because this is, and it's actually page 107 if you look in your book. I was in Roslyn Chapel. Now, you guys know enough about the paranormal. I came walking out of Roslyn Chapel area, and there were two older ladies. I walked by them. I said, afternoon, ladies. And they said hi. And there was a yellow building there where everybody had stayed and has a plaque on it to tell you who was there. I'm reading the plaque as I go by, and right in front of me, it sounded about 15 feet away, was this huge growl. It just went, I mean, scared the shit out of me. I mean, I thought it was like a guard dog on steroids, right? So I froze, right? And I just turned my head, and there's absolutely nothing ahead of me. You can see 200 yards straight down the way goes right into Roslyn, and there's hedges. So you could see anything that was out there. There's nothing there. So I checked both parking lots that were right near me. I ran over to both of them. Nothing. There's one road that goes down to the cemetery. It's about 100 yards. Nothing. There was nothing there that could have made that noise. So I'm standing there thinking, what just happened, right? And anybody that's ghost hunted long enough knows that a sound like that is something demonic, and there's no other way of putting it, right? So I'm kind of thrown off a little bit, and the ladies walk up next to me, and they go, we heard it too, right? Well, I was staying 8 miles away from where I was, and I would walk through the forest, great walk, by the way. I would walk through the forest, and when I got over to where I was going, where I was staying, I was standing there waiting for the light to change, and I just looked up and I went, I think I could use a little help. And I looked down, and that was my shadow in that picture.
Yeah, I saw that shadow with the cross.
Yeah. Now, if you're looking for a sign, when you're asking for help and you get that sign, I was like, bring it.
Absolutely.
I got some backup. Let's go. Bring it, buddy.
Bring it on. Now,
bring it.
In your book, you talk about having a superpower.
I do have a superpower. It is the strangest superpower in the history of the world, but it is mine. My only superpower is that people are really nice to me, just out of the blue for no reason. I mean, the house I was staying at, where I was walking to right there, I had gotten kind of big-headed because I'd been there 3 years in a row, and I had friends at the front desks of the hotels and things like that. Well, I went out to stay at the one right next to Roslyn Chapel, which I like to stay at, a little inn, which is really cool. And I got out there, and I had 2 days, left at the Travel Lodge in Edinburgh. And anyway, we get didn't know it was that kind of show. But anyway, I had 2 days left at Travel Lodge, so I got to this place where I always stay, and I see the lady who owns the place and said, hey, I want to get a room for the weekend. Now, it's like there's like 7 to 9 rooms there, and I've many times been the only person in the inn, which is really kind of cool in this old-time inn, all by yourself. But she goes, oh, we're all full up. I said, really? She goes, you don't know what's going on, do you? And I just looked at it and said, well, that's frequently the case, right? So she laughs at me. And she goes, no, they have the European Rugby Championships. She says, I just got off the Master Hotel place. There's not a room between Edinburgh and Glasgow. So now I am in deep crap, right? So I asked her, I said, is there anybody else you know? She goes, try this girl, Carolyn. She's got a inn not too far from here. So I called her and I said, yeah, do you have any room? She goes, no, we just renovated. We're all sold out. And I went, oh, dang it. And she says to me, she goes, what's the matter? I said, well, I save all year to come over for 3 weeks to a month every year. I said, I've been here 2 days and looks like 2 days from now I'm going to have to get another plane ticket and go home. And she goes, can I call you back? And I said, sure. Now, keep in mind, I've never met this lady, ever, right? She calls me back and she goes, I don't know if you'd be interested in this, but me mum is going to England for 2 weeks, starting Friday, which was the day I needed a room. And she goes, and she said you can use her house while she's gone.
Dang.
Okay. I asked her, I said, well, how much does she want? She goes, oh, don't you dare offer her money. She'll get mad. What? Right? So I asked her, I said, why would you let somebody you've never met, we've never met in person, right? I said, only talk to once, let them stay in your mother's house. She goes, because you're a nice person. I said, how can you tell? She goes, because you're astonished that anybody would do this and you offered to pay. And I said, well, okay, I'm in.
You're right.
So we become really good friends. And there's many instances that I put in the book where things like that happen. Now, I mean, I still can't put my head around it. Somebody said, I called them up and said, yeah, I'm kind of out of reservation. You can use our house. She's going to be gone.
Yeah.
What? I wouldn't let my brother even visit me. I would much less stay for 2 weeks.
Dude, but that is awesome, man.
It is. And in people being nice to you, we're going to do something for you. Actually, we're going to do a couple things for you, right? One, you're
I'm
also
scared.
going to receive one of these.
Yeah, you're definitely going to get one of these, brother.
Wait a minute. I got to do my Donna impression. Yes.
Two, I'm going to have a T-shirt made up for you.
Sweet.
The 13th dimension. All I need is your shirt size. And
Excellent. But it has to be all cotton because I'm allergic to everything else.
okay,
We can definitely do that.
yeah, that's not a problem.
No, because I've had other people send me shirts and then I can't wear them.
Yeah,
So I always make sure I tell people, like all my shirts are 100% cotton. It's kind of the reason. People, if you ever see me at a convention, it's the reason I look like an unmade bed. All I can wear is cotton.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely.
Well, I'm excited now. Matter of fact, I might have to.
And three, you say you've always wanted to investigate Gettysburg, the
Yes.
battleground and everything. Well, I happen to know a guy who's over there quite often. I can get you in touch with him, and I'm pretty sure that he would have no problem showing you around Gettysburg.
Absolutely.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I actually have a friend named Kat Hobson who has Fate Magazine Radio.
Uh-huh.
And she's a good friend of mine, and she swears up and down by Gettysburg. Nick Groff told me, I asked him, I said, where's the one place you'd go back to? And he goes, Gettysburg. Just no hesitation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that when Kat tells me and Nick Groff tells me, yeah, it's something going on there, and I want to see that. Well, that would be really cool. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
This one here is from a very good team called the Elite Paranormal Society, and they're actually out of Maryland. But they're like, I want to say they're only like a 45-minute drive from Gettysburg. They go there quite often. Robert Murphy is the leader of the team, and
He's an amazing guy, man. Absolutely amazing.
he was actually the first guest of our show when we launched this.
Nice. Hey, I'm the first 2-hour guest.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you absolutely are, brother.
Yes,
you absolutely are.
And thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's like being in the Hall of Fame. That's
you are, dude. You're a Hall of Famer in my book.
You are.
All right. I want to read your book then, if I'm in it.
I'm gonna read yours. Absolutely.
I guarantee you guys that it's a good read. And this isn't to brag, just to kind of tell you, every review that people have put on Amazon, every one of them was 5-star. So, I got to think it's a good book. I tried to.
Yeah.
So is Amazon the only place where we can get this book right now?
Yeah. The only other place, for people that wanted autographed copies would go through me. And I try to sell it at the same price that Amazon would charge them. When I'm at a convention and somebody says, "Can we get a picture?" Yes.
I got my autograph.
I guess I better get my autograph copy as well.
And Crystal, our researcher,
I'll send you one.
is on the way.
Brother.
On the way to her as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Crystal absolutely loved your book. She's already said how amazing it was. So, I mean,
is that Crystal Kohler? Is that her last name?
Kohler.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
By the way, is she related to the Kohler people of Wisconsin?
Crystal.
If you're here, I know she's here.
Oh, she's here.
She'll smack
There's
you for that
like
comment.
a 45-second delay on this thing.
No, the reason I say that, the guy who owns Kohler, the toilets and stuff like that, he actually bought the biggest hotel at St. Andrews in Scotland.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, I think he bought 2. I think he bought the old Scottish Inn, too. So.
Dang. See, I need to go to St. Andrews so I can also play some golf.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you a hot tip. You have to have
she's bouncing in and out.
You have to have a verifiable handicap to play.
I had a verifiable handicap. Kind of. Oh, you mean a low one? My bad.
Well, no, it's got to be 12 or lower.
Yeah, that's not going to work for me.
And I wanted to play, and mine is less than 12. It's probably 10, right around in that area. But I didn't have a card or anything saying that I had a handicap. So, I mean, they're real strict about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, one of my friends, a girl, runs the gift shop for St. Andrews, one of the big gift shops. And it's actually one of the golf shops. And they couldn't get me in, so they're real tight about it.
Well,
Okay.
but that kind of stinks.
Yeah.
At least look at it from a distance.
But there's so many ghost hunting places to go in St. Andrews too. St. Andrews, matter of fact, that's one of the places the tourists going to St. Andrews also. So I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to that. I really am.
I wish I could be able to go to Scotland right now.
Oh,
well, not right
absolutely.
now, but in July.
Dude, you know what? I'd go right now. I'd go in July. It wouldn't matter, dude.
Yeah, but this would be a chance to investigate with him.
Dude, and that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not only going to be me that's leading the investigations. I also have my buddies from Scottish Paranormal ghost hunting with us, and they are as good a group as there is anywhere. I mean, they are. I'll give you, for instance, I have never seen another group that has an actual dedicated, standalone research center in the middle of town that you can walk into and get help for ghost hunting things.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are serious ghost hunters, but they are total screwballs too. So I mean, they're a lot of fun.
Right on.
Awesome. And, well, on that note, it's time to wrap up the show here.
Let's do another 2 hours. Dang it.
Oh man.
Woo. The boss might get mad.
Yeah. No, Rick, it has been an absolute pleasure having you here on this podcast.
Yes.
Great show. A lot of laughs.
Thank you so much.
Well, let me get a plug in real quick, and it's not for the book. If you want to find out about the tour or about the book, either one, just go to ghostbelieveinme.com.
Okay.
And there's a big picture of the tour that you can click and go to that. And don't forget to check out Dark Zone TV for the Queen Mary thing.
All right. Awesome.
Awesome. And we'll put that up on our page as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys want to check it out, definitely check it out. So
Yeah, and don't forget to get yourself a dog whistle.
yeah.
No, that's you see. You might think I'm kidding about that, but that it really piqued my curiosity because it makes sense, you know. So I will give that a try, and I'll let you know how it works.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. We will definitely be staying in touch with you for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
That would be good. But of course, you know, if I get bit by a Great Dane or something,
Yeah, just don't use it outside. You'll be all right. And it wouldn't be a Great Dane. It'd be a Chihuahua.
I'd rather get bit by the Great Dane than the Chihuahuas anyway.
Well, it might be Scooby going after Scooby snacks.
Scooby Doo. I used to have before I got allergic to dogs. I used to have a huge Great Dane. It's in the book. And I was the guy driving along, in the car with the Great Dane next to me. I was that trendy looking dude long before it was trendy. So,
well, hey, if you ever make it over this way, Chicago or whatever, get a hold of us, and we can have. You want to go investigate somewhere else, dude? I'm sure we could find somewhere.
I'll tell you what. If it's in Chicago, it's got to be Resurrection Cemetery.
Dude, I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Tell Mary I said hi.
I'd be glad to.
Yeah, from Chicago, I've been to these places. By the way, they say that the most haunted road in America is Archer Avenue. I don't know if you know that or not.
No, did not.
You know the legend of Hell House?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is on Archer Road. Resurrection is down that road.
Okay.
There's all kinds of things on that road. Matter of fact, you should get somebody for your show called Ursula Bielski from Chicago.
All right.
She's got a tour bus there, and she has fantastic stories. Okay. It's Bielski, Ursula Bielski, and if you ever get her on, ask her the story about the hoofs in the sidewalk.
Right on.
Alrighty, we'll do.
We'll definitely do that.
Okay, well, for the moment, we're going to take you off stream here, and then we'll do our final thoughts. So,
thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching this. Thank you, Rick. We'll be back with you here in just a minute after we end the broadcast.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, thank you again for being a part of the 13th Dimension.
Thank you, guys.
Very happy to be part of the 13th Dimension.
And yeah, we are too, brother.
Yes. Thank you so much. Damn.
Dude, that dude's amazing, man.
It is. I mean, the stories that this guy's got is he can probably write 10 more books if he wanted to.
You know what I like about him so much is how down to earth he is.
He is.
I mean, you can just
very
tell
real.
The way he talks. I mean, being a stuntman and being in the business in Hollywood, he doesn't have that persona. You know what I'm saying?
No, he does not.
He is one of the guys that you would go out.
He's one of the guys that will absolutely prank you.
Absolutely. But he would sit there and laugh with you, because at first you might not laugh, but you're going to laugh,
Yeah, you're going to laugh eventually.
And he would just, he would be like, dude, that's the kind of guy I would hang out with personally. I mean,
I would too.
Absolutely.
And one of these days, I would hope to get the honor of being able to investigate with him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Hopefully we can make that happen in one way or the other.
It's a possibility. So anyway, next week, in fact, we were actually talking about this next week. The topic is going to be about attachments and personal experiences and how to handle them. And who do we have but Jenny Sullivan from Ireland?
Is that 2 weeks?
That's next week.
Next week's Halloween?
Yep. And we're also going to be doing another show as well. We are going to be pre-recording a Halloween special, and we're going to be releasing it on all locations on Halloween night.
Yep. And we got some amazing guests on that one too.
Yes, we do. We are really looking forward to that.
We have Jenny from Ireland, right? We have Brent Nimma from the UK.
I'm looking forward to that.
Dude, I cannot wait, dude.
Not only are we going to be having people from different countries, but also different backgrounds. So we're going to be talking so much about Halloween, the different stories and how everything ties in together. And how Halloween is celebrated in different countries, because we know that it's not always the same everywhere. So, meanwhile, until next week, the scariest week of the year.
I'm excited.
I am too.
Oh, hey, guys, remember, if it's paranormal,
we got it covered.
That we do. Have a good night, everybody.